Good morning, all. So, in the last class, I discussed about the input domain, what are the incomplete and ambiguous requirements, and then how to modify the incomplete and ambiguous requirements. After that, I explained the input domain, construction of the input domain for the requirements. And after that, I explained what are the valid and invalid inputs, correctness versus reliability, what is the correctness and testing, and when we are comparing the correctness and the reliability, we are comparing the reliability with the help of two definitions that I explained in the last class, right? And what are the operational profiles, what is an operational profile and how to construct the operational profile for the program. So here we have considered the operational profile for the starting program. This is operational profile 1 and next one is the operational profile 2. So these things we discussed in the last class. Today we are going to study, you are going to study about the testing and the debugging. What is the testing and debugging process and how it is helpful in identifying and removing the errors. And here you are studying the testing and the debugging cycle or the state diagram for the test or the debug cycle. And afterwards you're going to study about the test plan. What is a test plan? Then what are the test cases or the test data? Then we'll consider one example called as the Oracle. Here you are going to study what is Oracle and how to construct the Oracle, and one example we'll consider for the Oracle, that is the HV video example we'll consider it. And if I'll complete this, the first module will be completed. So first we'll start with the testing and debugging. So what is the testing and debugging? As you already studied about the testing, right? What is testing or define testing? So testing means the process of determining the errors in a developed program or in the developed product is called as the testing. Okay, so what is testing? Testing is the process of determining any errors in the program or in the developed product. Next, what is a debugging? So, as we know that when we are performing the testing, we are identifying the errors. Then the process used to determine the causes of those errors and removing those errors is called as the debugging process. Understood? So what is testing and debugging? Testing is used to identify the errors, whereas the debugging process is used to determine the causes of errors and removal of those errors. Understood the difference between testing and debugging? Testing is used to find the errors or determine the errors, whereas the debugging process is used to determine the causes of the errors and the removal of those errors. So that is explained with the help of the state diagram. See here. So this is very, very important. In the exam, they may ask, explain the test or debugging cycle. So normally the testing and debugging terms are used interchangeably, or they may use testing or debugging or in a single word they say that the testing is done or debugging is done. So when the debugging is done, it is understood that first testing process is completed. After the testing process, the debugging starts, and through the debugging we are removing the errors. Understood? So we'll see the testing or debugging cycle or the transition diagram for test debugging, testing or debugging. So here we have the input domain. So input domain, I explained in the last class what is input domain or the input data. The set of all possible inputs forms the input domain or the input space. Then construct the test inputs. So whenever we are performing the testing process, so to perform the testing we need the test inputs or we need the test cases, so that we need to construct. Okay, that is here the construct test plan or nothing but construction of test cases. We'll see what are test plan and test cases, etc. So once the once we are constructing the test input or the test cases, to construct the test inputs or the test cases, we are making use of the operational profiles and the test plan. We'll see what is test plan. So to construct the test input or the test cases, we are using the test plan as well as the operational profile. By using this, the test inputs are constructed, our test cases are constructed. Once the test cases are constructed, we are executing the program or we are executing the developed program. And why we are executing the program? To check whether the program is executing or whether the program is giving the output according to the given specification or not. So that is explained, that is represented here, is behavior as expected. So what it indicates is behavior as expected. What it indicates? It indicates that, or we are identifying that whether the program is giving the output according to the specified requirements or according to the expected output or not. So to check that, we are making use of the set of specifications which are defined during the initial phase of development. Understood? So while after executing the program, we are checking and analyzing the behavior of the program or the system by using the set of specifications which are defined during the initial phase of the development, right? Next, if the program is behaving or if the program is giving the output according to the expected specifications, then yes, then we are terminating the program, testing to be terminated, yes. Or if the program is not giving according to the expected specifications, or if the program is giving the error output, then we have to determine what is the causes of the error. So that is to be determined here, right? And once the causes of the errors and the errors are determined, then we'll use the debugging process to remove the errors. So here, by using the debugging process, we are fixing the errors. If the errors are fix the errors, then once again we'll go back to the termination of the program. If the errors are not yet fixed, right, if the errors are not yet fixed, then we'll find the error report, file pending the error report, and once again the same process repeats, right? So once the errors are fixed, then we are terminating, or once again we'll execute the program. And once the errors are not fixed, then that process continues. And once the errors are determined or the causes of errors are determined and debugging is done, then we'll also prepare the file which is related to the type of error exists and how the errors are removed by using the debugging process. So once it completes, we'll go back to the testing to be terminated or not. If the testing means, when the testing is to be terminated, if the tester tests the program for all possible inputs, and then we are terminating the program. Else we'll go back to construct once again the test inputs, and once again the same procedure repeats. So this is called as the test debug cycle. See here, the program is terminated or the testing process is terminated, then the tester prepares the report while that prepare consisting of the information about what type of test has been done and what and which program the testing is done. Everything related to the program execution and the type of program is prepared in the form of a file, and this is called as the test debug cycle, and it is very important. So here you need to write the diagram neatly and you have to explain each step in detail. Understood? Any doubt in this, or shall I explain it once again? Yes, Sharanya, understood, or shall I explain it once again?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay, Suraj, understood?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Suraj? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Okay, then okay, next I'll move on to then okay. So here I explained that while construction of the test inputs, I explained that we are going to use the test plans, right? We are going to use the test plans, and the test cases are also constructed. Then what is a test plan? So the test plan is guided by the test cycle. Okay, the test plan is tested by the test cycle, and here the test plan indicates series of steps to be followed in performing the testing process. Understood? So we know that the test plan is the test cycle is guided by the test plan, and the test plan consisting of series of steps to be followed while performing the testing process. So if you consider an example of a SART program, then what will be the test plan? So for that SART program that I already explained in the previous class, right? So what is the requirement they have given for the SART program? Then if the number of integers are given, then you have to arrange them or sort them in the ascending order or descending order depending on the type of character entered by the user. If A is entered, then the numbers or the integers are arranged in the ascending order. If D is pressed, then it will be arranged in the descending order that I explained in the previous class, right? Now we are concentrating on preparing the test plan for the SART program. Then what will be the test plan for the SART program? As I explained, what the test plan consisting of? It consisting of series of steps to be followed in the testing process for the SART program. So the first step will be, so whenever you are starting the testing process, so what will be the first step? Executing that particular program. So if you are written the program for the sorting, what is the next step in the testing process? So you have to execute that program. So the first step in the test plan for the SART program is execute the program on at least 2 input sequences. Okay, execute the SART program for at least 2 input sequence, one with the character A and the other with the character D. So why we are using only these 2 characters? Because we need to sort the program either in the ascending order or in the descending order. That's why we are using 2 request characters. A indicates for ascending and the D indicates for the descending order. So next, what we will do? We'll execute the program on an empty input sequence. So what the empty input sequence indicates? Empty input sequence indicates that no input is given to the program. So what happens here? You have written the SART program, understood? So you have written the program and you are executing the program. So once you execute the program, you will enter it as the character A. So when we enter it as a character A, what it indicates? It indicates that the sorting is to be done in the ascending order. So to perform the sorting process or sorting thing, what you have to do? You have to give the number of inputs. Right, you have to give the number of, suppose if you are sorting the integer numbers, suppose if you are sorting the integer numbers of 10, means 10 integer numbers you are going to sort. Then how many integer numbers you have to enter? 10 integer numbers you have to enter. Then after that you are getting the sorting order in the ascending type. Okay, understood. Suppose, so if I enter the character as A, means I want to arrange the numbers or sort the numbers in the ascending order. But after that, I'm not giving any input data to the program. So that is called as executing the program on an empty input sequence. I am not at all entering any input numbers to the program. Then what happens? There won't be no output, right? So that is the second step. So once you execute the program by pressing A or D characters, next test plan may be the execution of the program on an empty input sequence. No input will be given. And other one is executing the program either in the entering the characters as either A or D. And after that, you are entering the series of input numbers. Then based on your request, the numbers are going to be sorted. And the third test plan may be the third step in the test plan is the test the program for robustness against erroneous inputs such as R typed in as the request character. But what we expect when we execute the program, either the user has to enter the character as A or as D for ascending or descending. Instead, if the user enters the character as R, so that is not defined in your program, then what it indicates? It indicates the erroneous input or the invalid input. So if it is an invalid input, then what your program supposed to do? It has to display the error message such like erroneous input or the invalid input is entered by the user. So if the user enters the character other than A or D, then the program must display the error message as invalid input or the erroneous input entered by the user. Understood? Okay. Next, the last step in the test plan is all failures of the test program should be recorded in a suitable file using the company failure report form. Means once the testing is done, all the information related to that testing program should be recorded in the form of a file, and that is called as the company failure report form. Understood? So these are the 4 steps in the test plan. So one is the first step in the test plan for SART program is execute the SART program at least for 2 input sequences, one with A and the other with the character D, and after that execute the program for empty input sequence. And the third step is test the program for robustness against the erroneous inputs such as R typed in the request as R typed in as the request character. Means if the user type the character other than A or D, then it has to display the error message. And the last step in the test plan is all failures of the test program should be recorded in a suitable file using the company failure report form. Means whatever the testing team has done the testing process, everything needs to be recorded in the form of a file using the company failure report form. So this is about the test plan. Next, we'll move on to the test cases or the test data. So the test cases are also called as the test data. Understood? Test data is an test case or the test data. We need to use it in for when we are performing the testing process. Okay. First, we'll see what is a test case. Next, we'll see what is the test date or test data or the test set. So first, we'll see what is a test case. What is a test case? A test case is a pair consisting of test data to be input to the program and the expected output. So if we consider an example of the finding the maximum of 2 numbers. So here, when you are constructing the test case for that, it consisting of a pair of input to the program and the expected output. So what is the input you have to give to find the maximum of 2 numbers? So here, what is the expected input? The input data you have to give is, you have to give 2 integer numbers. Right, then what is the expected output? Expected output is the maximum of those 2 numbers. So suppose if I gave the test case as the number 10 and the 25. So these 10 and 25 are the input to the program. And what is the expected output? The expected output is the maximum of those 2 numbers. So 25 is the maximum of 10 and 25, then 25 is going to be displayed as the output. So that combination forms the test case. Understood? Test case is a pair consisting of test data to be input and the input to the program and the expected output from that program. Understood? Then what is test data? Test data is nothing but a set of values. Set of values, one for each input variable. Suppose there in the program is specified enter 2 integer numbers as A and B. Right. So for those A and B, I have to enter the value after executing the program. Right. If I am the user, I executed the program, then I have to enter the variable values for those variables A and B as the two input integer values. So if I enter the values as 2 and 100, so these two becomes the values to the variables A and B, and that forms the test data. Understood? What is test data? Test data is a set of values, one for each input variable. Then what is a test set? Test set is a collection of 0 or more test cases. So what is a test case? Here that the test case is given for the sorting program. So first test case is a pair consisting of the test data to input to the program. So what is the test data we are giving as the input? We are representing the character A or D that indicates whether the program to be sorted in ascending order or descending order. So here, if it is entered as A, then we need to sort the numbers in ascending order. After that, after the character, we are giving the set of numbers 12, minus 29, and 32. This forms the input data. A. It is the pair consisting of the test data to be input, that is A, and the number of integers to be sorted. And what is the expected output? Expected output, since we are sorting the numbers in the ascending order, we'll start with the smallest number, then to the highest number. Among the given three, minus 29 is the smallest number, then comes 12, and then 32. So this is the expected output. So what is the test case here? It is the pair consisting of the test data and the expected output. That forms the test case for the sort program. Then test data is nothing but the set of values for each input variable, whereas the test set is a collection of 0 or more test cases. Why we need to go for the construction of the test cases or the test set? Because whenever we are performing the testing process, the tester must construct the test cases or the test data or the test set before performing or before executing any program. So what is this? So the test case is nothing but the pair consisting of the test data and the expected output. So this is about the test case and the test data. So once the test case or the test data is constructed, what is the next step in the testing process? The next step in the testing process is the execution of the program. See here, once the test input or the test cases are constructed by using the test plan, next we have to execute the program. So once we execute the program, after execution, we are going to check the behavior of the program and we are analyzing the behavior of the program. So checking and analyzing is nothing but comparing the expected output with the obtained output. Okay, so if you consider the same sorting program, so once you execute the program after giving the inputs, it obviously it gives the output, right? The obtained output is compared with the expected output. So if the expected output and the obtained output both are same, then we say that the program is behaving according to the given expectation or the specifications. Understood? If not, then we say that the program is not behaving according to the expectation. Then we are going to find the causes of errors or the set of errors. Then we'll use the debugging process to remove the errors. And this continues once all the testing process is completed or it is done for all the test cases. Just a minute, I'm receiving the call. Hello. ನಾನೇ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಹಾ, 11:30 ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ಹಾ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಓಕೆ. So execution of the program is over, then test plan is over, test case construction of the test cases are over, right? And after that, once we execute the program, next what we have to do? We have to assess the behavior of the program, or we can say assessing the program correctness. Assessing the program correctness. So what is program correctness or what is correctness? In the last class I explained what is correctness, right? What is correctness? Suraj? Suraj? What is
Yes,
correctness?
ma'am.
Correctness. Define correctness. What is correctness? Gaurav? What is correctness? What is correctness? In the last class also I explained what is correctness. I defined the correctness, right? Correctness is the correct operation of a program or the product, right? The correctness defines the correct operation of a program or the software product. So once the execution is done, then we have to assess the program correctness. So assessing the program correctness is the important step in a testing process. Okay, assessing the program correctness is the important step in the testing process, because the tester here determines the observed behavior of the program. Okay, here the tester determines the observed behavior of the program and checks whether the observed behavior is correct or not. Okay, whether the observed behavior is correct or not. Here, this is done, right? Here is behavior expected. So here, once the program is executed, we are observing the behavior of the program or the product. So then so here the tester determines whether the observed behavior is correct or not. If it is correct, then it leads to the successfulness of the testing process. If not, then we are going to identify the causes of the errors and we are trying to remove the errors. Right? So assessing the program correctness is the important step in the testing process, because here the tester determines the observed behavior of the program and the tester decides that whether the observed behavior is correct or not. And this assessing is done in two steps. In the first step, the tester observes the behavior of the program. Understood? Here, the assessing of the program correctness is done in two steps. In the first step, here the tester observes the behavior of the program. Excuse me. Here, the tester observes the behavior of the program, and in the second step, he analyzes the observed behavior. Understood how the assessing is done? The assessing is done in two steps. In the first step, the tester observes the behavior of the program, and in the second step, the tester analyzes the observed behavior, and that is called as the oracle. So, what is oracle? What is oracle? Checking the correctness of the observed behavior is known as oracle. Understood? What is correctness? Correctness is the correct operation of a program or the product. Then checking the correctness of the observed behavior is called as the oracle. Next, we'll see the relationship between the where it is. Okay. So here we can see the relationship between the program under the test and the oracle. Now we'll see this is the program under the test and this is called as the oracle. So what is oracle? Oracle is the checking the correctness of the observed behavior. Okay. So now the program which is executed by giving the input and the program gives the output and the output is observed. Output is observed and analyzed and that is called as the oracle. And here the tester checks whether the observed behavior match the expected behavior or not. Here the behavior is nothing but the output. So here once the program is executed, the program gives the output that is called as the obtained output or the observed behavior or observed output. And this obtained output is compared with the expected output. Expected output means once the specifications are collected, then we are forming the type of input to be given to the program and what will be the expected output. So that obtained output is compared with the expected output. If both are matching, then we say that the program is behaving in a correct manner. Simple one. So yes. So does the observed behavior match the expected behavior? If it is yes, means the obtained output is same as the expected output, then it is yes. If not, no, then we have to specify it as no. Then if it is no, then we have to give the proper explanation for that. What will be the explanation? Due to the causes of errors or due to misdefined, or if the specifications are not defined in the correct manner, then the expected output and the observed output will not match. So that explanation we have to give. Understood what is Oracle? So when it comes during the assessing of the program behavior, or when we are assessing the correctness of the program behavior, we are performing the testing process, and here the tester assesses the program correctness. Okay, he assesses the program correctness and what is the Oracle and how we will perform the correctness of the program behavior. So it is done in two steps. One is in the first step the program behavior is observed, and in the second step the observed behavior is analyzed. Then checking the correctness of the observed behavior is known as the Oracle. So here the Oracle may be the human Oracle or the automated machine Oracle. So whenever the output is obtained, the human is here nothing but the tester. Tester compares the expected output with the observed output, then if says whether it is correct or not. Okay, and that is called as the Oracle, and Oracle may be the human Oracle or the machine Oracle. So if the human Oracle or a tester is acting as a human Oracle, then what are the problem arises? So when the human is acting as a Oracle, then we have several problems or disadvantages. One, the first disadvantage is it may leads to error prone. Why? Because the human Oracle make an error in analyzing the outputs. So there is a chance that the human makes error in analyzing the outputs, and the when compared with the machine Oracle, the performance or the functionality of the human Oracle is slower, because the human uh, obviously the human react in a slower manner when compared to the machines. So it leads to slowdowning of the process, and the errors may occur during the analysis process by the humans. So hence it is better to go for the machine Oracle rather than the human Oracle. Then what is the advantages of oracles or the Oracle programs? So these oracles are nothing but the human oracles or the machine oracles. So machine oracles means the oracles can also be the programs designed to check the behavior of other programs. So here human, if he is a human Oracle, directly is comparing the outputs. Okay, fine. But as I said, there are two disadvantages. One is it may leads to the errors, and the other one is the process may get slowed down because the humans are slow when compared to machines. And hence we can move to the machine oracles. Machine oracles are nothing but they are also programs designed to check the behavior of other programs. So if you consider the example of the matrix multiplication or multiplication of two matrices, matrix A and matrix B, and it generates the multiplication matrix which is represented as the one more matrix, right? And the other one is the matrix inversion. If A is the original matrix and B is nothing but the inversion of that matrix, or B is called as the output matrix, which gives the inversion of the matrix A. Right. So if these are is for such type of programs, we can make use of the machine oracles, or we can design the programs where those programs are checking the output of the matrix multiplication or the inversion and compares with the expected output. Understood? Any doubt in this Oracle programs? Okay, then how to construct the Oracle? Construction of automated oracles, such as I said, checking the matrix multiplication or the sorting program or the inversion of a matrix is easier, right? So, for simple programs or for simple things, construction of the machine oracle or the automated oracle is easier, but construction of the automatic oracle for the complex system is a complex process, because if you consider it for an entire software product, let us consider for checking the correctness of a operating system. So nowadays all of or most of us are making use of the Windows operating system version 10. So if you want to construct the automated oracle for the such operating system, then it is a very complex process. But for the simple programs, construction of the automated oracle is easier. But for the complex systems or for the complex software, such as for the operating system, construction of the oracle is the complex process. We'll see one example here. We will have the program called as HVideo. So here we are constructing the oracle for the one program called as HVideo that allows us to keep track of the old home videos. Okay, HVideo allows us to keep track of old home videos, and here the program operates in two modes. Okay, the program operates in two modes. One mode is called as the data entry mode, and the other one is the searching mode. Suppose if you are the user and you are using the HVideo, then first what you are going to do, you are entering some video name, right? That is the data entry. So once you give the name, then it will search in the database. See here, input generator, we are giving HVideo. Through the HVideo, you are giving the input or the data entry. So once you enter the data, then it will search in the database. So it is operating in two modes. One is the data entry mode and the second one is the search mode. So in the data entry modes, then what you are going to do, you are typing the information about the video, right? Suppose if you saved the video or some films, right? Recent films you people know, right? Some Kannada movies, if you consider that you are saved in the database, but you wanted to check it, then what you will going to do, you are going to type the information, then according to the user typed information, that will be searched, right? Then that will be displayed. So what the information it displays, it displays the information which includes the data such as the title, the comments, and the date when the video was prepared. Like suppose if you consider the Cosmos video of the last year, Cosmos video that you have already stored, then if you simply type the information as Cosmos 2019, let us consider that Cosmos 2019, that video is already saved in your database and you want to search it. If you type it as Cosmos 2019, then whenever you are typing that, it will search it in the database. If it is there, then it display the information of that video, like the title of that video as Cosmos 2019, and whatever the comments included already, that will be displayed. Along with that, the date, on which date that video was prepared, all these information will be displayed. So once that information is displayed, then you can get the data, and if you want to run it once again, you can do that. So here that is acting as, here comparing the input or searching the given input in the database is acting as a oracle. So searching the information in the database, and that program is acting as the oracle here. Understood? Any doubt here? So here HVideo, we are considering one program that allows us to keep track of the old videos. Old videos you already stored in the database, and after that, after some days or after some time, I want to search that video in the database. Then how will you do that? I will enter the information Okay, data entry. I will do that. So once I enter the information, that information is searched in the database. If it is available, then it displays information related to that video. For example, title of that video, comments, and the data and the date when actually it was prepared. Those information will be displayed. If that video is not available in the database, then it displays the error message that no such videos. So in this way, we can construct the automated Oracle or the Oracle programs in order to perform the searching process. So this is one example of Oracle construction. So this completes the testing and debugging process. So in the testing and debugging process, we are concentrated on what is the testing, what is debugging, what is the test plan or the test data or the test cases, construction of the test data or the test cases, then the state diagram for the testing and debugging process. So this you have to explain what is the testing and debugging process and what is the execution of a program, and then after the execution of the program you have to assess the program correctness. So how it is done? The program correctness is done with the help of the Oracle. Here we may have the human Oracle or the automated Oracle. So if we use the human Oracle, what happens? So since the humans are slow when compared to the machines, so it is slow down the process. And the other one is, since the humans make mistakes during the analysis process, hence it leads to the erroneous analysis. In order to avoid that, we may go for machine oracles rather than the human oracles. Machine oracles are nothing but the oracle programs that are designed to check the behavior of other programs. Okay, one such example is construction of a oracle for the HV video program. H video program. Here in the H video program, basically H video program keeps tracks of the old videos, and these are kept in the form of a database. Whenever the user wants to check or want to view the videos, he can type that particular video. If that video is already available in the database, then it display the related information about that video. If not, it displays the error message as no such videos. So here the H video oracle is acting as the machine oracle or the oracle program. Okay, so basically what it is doing, it is searching the videos in the database. If it is available, then it displays the related information, otherwise it displays the error message. So this is about the oracle construction, and this completes the testing and debugging, and all the topics from this chapter are completed. So in this chapter you have studied about what? So you have studied about the software quality. In that you have studied about the quality attributes, static quality attributes, dynamic quality attributes. Then you have studied about the different dynamic quality attributes such as the reliability, correctness, completeness, consistency, usability, and performance. And after that you have studied about the requirements, behavior, and the correctness. And after that, you have studied the input domain, specifying the program behavior, what are valid and invalid inputs. And after that, you have studied the correctness versus reliability. There we compared the correctness and the reliability. And the last topic of the chapter we have studied today is testing and debugging. What is testing and debugging process? What are test plans and test cases? Constructions of the test data or the test cases, executing the program, then assessing the program correctness with the help of the oracle. So these things you have studied in this chapter, and this is completed, and the first module is completed. Okay, in the next class I'm going to start the second module, the topics from the second module. Okay, any doubt from the first module? Yes, Gaurav, Misbah, Suraj and Sharanya, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
If no doubt, I'll stop here. So I am preparing the notes for the first module. I'll give the notes afterwards. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'll leave the class now, right? So since the first module is completed, I'm preparing the notes. Once it completes, I'll give the notes for the first module. Is it okay to you people?
Yes, ma'am.